And welcome everyone to a very special edition of the FTW podcast. This is the Elimination Chamber preview show. My name is Garvin. I am here with Joe. Joe, say hello.
Hello, people.
All right, and we're coming live about four and a half hours from tonight's opening bell of WWE Elimination Chamber. If you're new to the show, check out ftwpodcast.com. You can also live chat with us on ftwpodcast.com/live. You can also get involved on Twitter. Use the hashtag FTWLive. We're also on Facebook. Voicemail, all that information is on the website. So if you're listening, get it there. And we'll be taking your tweets. We'll be taking your voicemails a little bit later on. If you want to leave one right now, it's 313-444-3894. Let's start off the show with talking about our favorite WWE Elimination Chamber moments. We asked that question on Twitter and Facebook earlier this week. We got quite a bit of responses. A lot of them were all the same. Jeff from the Marks, which is echoed throughout, was that Edge cashing in the Money in the Bank against Cena. And TJ from the Marks group, he also said Edge taking out Kofi and taking his place. I think that was in 2009, which was another great moment. It was something you weren't expecting. Joe, do you have a moment that you can think of from Elimination Chamber that stands out to you? And Joe, I'm not hearing you. Not sure why.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so I am apparently a technological idiot. I don't know how to unmute myself. Okay, so probably my favorite moment are the Elimination Chamber matches that have ever existed. I think TJ hit it right on the mark. I think Edge taking out Kofi was awesome. I think the biggest error they've ever done in one of those matches was the very first one when they said that the glass was like thick bulletproof glass surrounding the pods. I think it was Jericho got put through one, and you could easily see it was like the crappiest piece of plastic they could ever find.
Yeah, that was Goldberg. Goldberg speared Jericho.
Jericho.
Fantastic. We also saw a similar situation like that. It was Triple H. I think it was the same match. It was Triple H. He was in his pod, and he had been called out. So it was just going to be him and Goldberg, and Flair had held the pod shut so that he couldn't get out. Basically just taunting Goldberg. Finally, Goldberg just punched the glass through, and then got after Triple H. It was, I would say,
there's a lot of faux pas with the glass. I mean, and somebody trying to get out or trying to hide in the pods. I think that's where all the hilarity for the match revolves.
Sure. Yeah. And if they would have called it something else, like bulletproof plastic or something like that, it would have been a little bit more realistic. And really, glass, they should have never called it glass because that wouldn't make sense anyways. Glass is breakable. Glass has shards.
They've changed what they call it now. They have some, they call it Lexan or something like that now. Just to kind of get around it's not really glass, it's really cheap plastic, it's a little less weight so we don't have to haul that huge massing piece of weight up and down. They're trying to cut corners at every moment they can, I think.
Sure.
So
yeah, lots of matches that have happened in the Elimination Chamber. And obviously, if you guys are in the chat right now, you can leave your thoughts on what your favorite chamber match or your favorite moment going to tonight. But let's go right now and talk about SmackDown, Joe. What happened on Friday that helps us build into tonight's show.
You really want to talk about the biggest thing. I mean, the biggest thing is that Randy Orton has a concussion and will not be in the Elimination Chamber match. They had to fill it last minute. How they do that, battle royal with most of the undercard, most of the lower guys, the lower card. It comes down to it was Ezekiel Jackson, David Otunga, Drew McIntyre, and Santino Marella. And looking at that list, you gotta wonder, like, they didn't even have, like, some upper mid-card talent to throw in there. Like, for some reason, there was just these lower guys. And I'm not complaining because I want to see these other guys get a spot. But when Santino Marella wins the Battle Royal to be put into the Elimination Chamber match, I cringed a little bit because while I know he's a capable performer, it's rough because I turned to my fiance because she was like, "What the fuck?" And I said, "Honey, how long do you think it's going to be? I mean, from his entrance to the pod, at what point do you think he's going to get taken out and someone else is going to get in the pod for him, like Edge did with Kofi?"
Yeah, we could probably talk like an entire show just on that match and the possibilities of Santino. Everyone on Twitter basically has hated on this as much as possible. Same in the Mark's Facebook group. Everything that we've seen on our Facebook page, it seems like everyone is unhappy that Santino is the guy that they've decided to plug into this spot. But there's one thing that we need to say, and that is, up till now on the podcast, we have all said, it would be so great if they would finally give Santino a spot, a push into a main event picture, or even, a credible title picture. And they finally kind of did that, just,
I'll give you that.
Here.
I'll give you that. I mean, they kind of did that, but the problem is he's still coming in with the Cobra gimmick, and really, it's not good because it's just cheap pop fodder. If they're going to really do anything with Santino toward the main event in the next 6 months, they really need to give him a very strong showing. None of this, whoops, I accidentally pinned somebody or accidentally did something to get somebody eliminated. He actually needs to hit the spots he needs, and he's got to hit the big moments.
Sure.
It can't be any of this goofy bullshit. They need to turn the corner and actually give him something meaningful.
Yeah, and you look at everyone else that was in that match. You had guys like Drew McIntyre, the Usos, Ezekiel Jackson. Even guys from NXT that hadn't really been pushed yet. It's kind of surprising that they went with Santino, looking at the rest of the pool.
But as far as looking at those guys, even just looking at the Final Four, Santino's been the one that's been around the longest.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of cred there that, okay, they're going to go with the guy who's most experienced. The only other guy, I think the only other way you could have made a better character story out of that match was to put Drew McIntyre over. With all the failings that he's had lately, for him to all of a sudden end up in the Elimination Chamber match would have been brilliant.
Sure. Yeah, and it did seem like a good spot for Drew McIntyre. He would have made sense because it would finally given him an opportunity to shine and get away from the losing streak that he had.
Totally.
But still, you heard the spot. You heard, or not the spot, the cheering for Santino.
Well, when it's him and David Otunga, it's really not a hard choice, is it? Otunga's horrible. Nobody. I've not heard anybody say good things about his work in the ring. I think he's all right. He definitely needs more time. He's definitely getting into his character, which is good. It's kind of a lackey version of IRS, that very, if you don't do it by the books, you're going to get fucked kind of gimmick. But
sure.
It's cool to see Santino start to get a push, but I just don't want to see it burn him out when he, just as he's starting to get going. Like, this is the stepping point where he could really do something. it would be cool to see them actually do something with him, and I don't think they're going to.
I totally agree. But looking at the overall reaction from everyone on Twitter that night, especially from Diva Jill, the people that usually tweet with us, they were all unhappy that Santino got the spot. But who knows? Maybe it'll work out. Maybe it won't. But let's move on to Elimination Chamber itself. We have, I believe, 4 scheduled matches as of right now. 4 matches is a little small. I mean, usually we see a pay-per-view have 7 matches in total. At the same time, 2 of these matches have, a multitude
most
of
the
people.
Card.
Yeah, so
or most of the roster, the bigger named roster. Yeah.
Yeah, so you look at each Elimination Chamber, you got to figure that each one is going to go at least 30 to 45 minutes.
We're hoping.
Yeah, so that's about an hour and a half with build-ups. Then there's 2 other matches, but some matches that we were expecting on the last show, or the last podcast rather, was a U.S. Championship match. Maybe we'll see Jack Swagger take on someone. I think we brought up Mason Ryan. I've heard a couple other names there. Some low Carter guys like a
DiBiase.
Tyson Kidd's name has been brought up as well. So, but I think we all looked at it as Jack Swagger would retain if he does compete tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're really going to do a title match and do a title change without some type of build-up. Even a mediocre couple weeks build-up. But, the other match that we were discussing, too, was Epico and Primo against the Usos. And we just saw that match on SmackDown. It wasn't for the title, I don't believe. But we just saw that with the Usos on the losing end. So if anything, you've got a rubber match possibly coming around the corner.
Yeah, and it would make sense to have that rubber match, at a big pay-per-view. Except for the Usos lost, right, on SmackDown?
Yes, they did.
So maybe it doesn't necessarily make sense that they would push that on a pay-per-view. But if you needed some fodder, or if you needed some filler, that would be a good match to put in there. I think, the tag teams themselves have been getting over pretty well in front of the live crowd. I know I've enjoyed their matches.
Oh yeah, so have I. So,
all right. Before we get into the main heart of the show and go over our picks, we approached the Marks Facebook group trying to get their opinions on the show. We also got some voicemails. So right now what we're going to do, though, is we're going to play some clips from both Chill Mascara's YouTube show and the OK Fabe show. The OK Fabe is Connor, who's been a guest on our show previously. So right now we're gonna start off with Chill Mascaras and his picks for the Elimination Chamber.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's me, as always, Chill Mascaras. You can follow me on Twitter at Chill Mascaras. I decided, since my last video didn't include my official WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view predictions, that I would put a little short video up. The first match we have here, Beth Phoenix, the current Divas champion, taking on Tamina, aka Sarona Snuka. I hope Tamina gets a strong showing in this match. I hope she's not squashed by Beth Phoenix. This will probably be the opening match, I would think. Here I'd have to give the win to Beth Phoenix, but I also think in this match Karma will be a factor. So I think you'll see Karma. I think it's safe to say that she will actually come out, at least after the match. Then you have Super Cena versus Super Shredder. Super Cena will be the victor in this match. He will come out on top over Kane, because after all, if he can't beat Kane, how are you going to beat The Raw? In the next match, you have Daniel Bryan defending his championship against Wade Barrett, Cody Rhodes, Big Show, Khali, and Santino. Obviously, Santino, we talked about that. That is a weird factor in this match. I do expect like something comical. Either he'll go out first or he'll go out last. The winner will be Daniel Bryan. That is a Chill Mascaras exclusive right there. I think he will retain in typical heel fashion, probably. Moving on to our final match, CM Punk, the WWE Champion, will be taking on Dolph Ziggler, who does have a chance, I'd say, to steal a win out of here. The Miz as well in this match. R-Truth, I don't think, has much of a chance of winning it, nor do I think Kofi Kingston has much of a chance of winning it. But at the end of the day, who will walk out as the champion here? I would say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, Chris Jericho will walk out the champion. And having said all of that, you can check out my website at chillmascaras.blogspot.com. Tweet me at chillmascaras. And that, my friends, is a wrap.
All right, so some interesting notes from Chill. Again, you can find Chill on YouTube. He's got his own YouTube channel. We post his videos on our site. They're also on the Mark's Facebook group. So after tonight's show, we'll post all those links again, just so you guys can reach Chill and the rest of the voicemails we got. So okay, so some interesting notes from Chill, as well as most of the IWC. We all believe that Karma is going to make some kind of impact tonight. We saw what she did at the Royal Rumble. Going into WrestleMania, it kind of makes sense to have her into that title picture again. But again, who knows what will end up happening. Also, he sees Bryan versus Sheamus, Jericho versus Punk at WrestleMania, both for the title. So obviously, Bryan would retain either. He says Jericho would win the title. Any thoughts, Joe, on what Chill had to say?
I think he's pretty steady in his picks. I think that we could probably see Sheamus versus Bryan. I can't see. I don't know. It's harder in the SmackDown picture to figure out what's going on, because they could be cutting off Daniel Bryan at this point, giving you only a month or so to build up for a title. So what? Sheamus against who for the title? Where is that X factor?
Sure.
I would like to see Daniel Bryan main event of WrestleMania. I mean, even if he loses to Sheamus, it's something in his belt. It's something that a lot of people never thought they'd see. A former Ring of Honor guy, big Ring of Honor guy, go on to main event WrestleMania.
Well, two,
right. But Punk's been around WrestleMania. He's been in a number of WrestleManias. It's about his time.
Sure. All right, let's move on to what Connor. Let's see if he agrees with all Chill's picks.
It's time to give you my pay-per-view picks for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view 2012 presented by WWE here on the OK Fabe Show. Let's start with the Divas Championship. Beth Phoenix versus Tamina. Now, this one is kind of intriguing. They kind of blindsided me with this one, to be honest with you. But I figured that with Beth Phoenix pretty much beating almost every single diva in the Divas division, it seemed natural that Tamina would eventually slide her way into finding a championship match. I'm not gonna lie, Tamina's a very good wrestler, but in the thought that Beth versus Karma is gonna happen at WrestleMania, of course Beth should retain, so therefore I'm gonna put my money on Beth Phoenix retaining the Divas Championship. Next up is, of course, John Cena versus Kane in the Ambulance match. It just seems like they're just butchering this whole Rise Above Hate thing, to the death. And of course, with Cena not having a clean victory over Kane, I'm going to put my money on Cena winning the Ambulance match so that he has momentum heading into WrestleMania. Six men competing for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have Daniel Bryan, Wade Barrett, Intercontinental Champion Cody Rhodes, the Great Khali, Big Show, and Santino Marella. That's right, Santino replacing Orton because of the concussion injury. I see no reason for them to put the belt on Khali because, well, let's break it down first. Khali, because he just came back, there's no point for him. Santino, let's be realistic, folks. I don't think Santino is going to main event WrestleMania as the World Heavyweight Champion. I'm just being kind of realistic here. Barrett, Barrett could, but I just don't see him yet in that big main event spot yet in terms of WrestleMania. I'd love to see Rhodes, don't get me wrong, but again, these two guys have already had programs with Sheamus in the past. You could do Big Show versus Sheamus, but I'm going to put my money more on Daniel Bryan just because Bryan versus Sheamus in terms of a story leading up to WrestleMania makes more sense. And the other one, of course, is the WWE Championship matchup in the Elimination Chamber for the WWE Championship. We have the champion CM Punk, Kofi Kingston, Dolph Ziggler, Chris Jericho, Miz, and Little Jimmy. No, R-Truth, of course. There's no way I see Miz, Truth, or Kofi winning, and I'm sorry, that's just me. No, I don't see Ziggler winning. Now, because the fact that, let's say all intents and purposes of rumor is that Chris Jericho will face CM Punk at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. Obviously, one of these two men will most likely be the ones to walk out with the championship. Question being, who? I gotta say that my money actually will be on Jericho, and let me explain. They could have Punk retain the championship, but in terms of building up the whole Punk-Jericho feud, it really wouldn't make much sense, and to me it would be kind of just a shrug off the shoulder to have Jericho say, "You beat me at the Chamber, I want a rematch at WrestleMania." Follow me at Twitter at OKFabe, Facebook.com/TheOKFabe. You can add me as a friend. Take it easy.
Okay, so that was Connor's thoughts from the OKFabe show. Pretty much in agreement. The main thing that they both echo is the idea that Cena has to win tonight to take momentum into WrestleMania. Like, if he can't beat Kane, then how can he beat The Rock?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that completely. But, I mean, the only flip they have is that Ryder does something, I take that back. Let me recalibrate here, because, I'm a dick. So, I could see Cena turning on Ryder, or Ryder turning on Cena fully, so that Cena's injured up until Mania. I don't know, with the, Cena getting with this hate thing, if he's going to do anything at all, I mean, he's got to win. He's got to win to go on to WrestleMania. But damn, I said it on the last episode of our show. Unless there's a heel turn there that he just embraces the hate and goes after Ryder and just doesn't take a match up until WrestleMania. I mean, that's the only other option.
We have one last voicemail to play. This is from Steve Credo, the Mark father himself. Let's see what he had to say about tonight's show.
Hello, FTW. This is Credo from the Marked Up podcast. I just want to leave some of my predictions for your show. First up, the whole Divas Championship. Hey, I would love to see the Divas Championship be a player again. I hate the name Divas Championship. I wish they would just go back to Women's Championship and actually have some women shows, women matches, better matches, more than 2 minutes, My prediction right there, I think Beth's going to win it. Maybe we'll see Karma come in, and then that will lead towards WrestleMania. The whole ambulance match with Kane and John Cena, I don't know. I want John Cena to lose. I want him to embrace the hate. I think he's got to go heel for WrestleMania. Will they do it? I don't know. Maybe he'll just go heel after WrestleMania since they're working up to that match. But I'm hoping for a Kane win on this one. But who knows? As for the Elimination Chamber matches, I'm going to have to say right off the bat, without even getting into it that much, I'll have to just say Jericho is going to walk out with the WWE title, setting up their match for WrestleMania. It just makes more sense. Maybe it makes it more of a match that you would want to see. Jericho going into Mania as the champ, and then Punk having to prove that he is the best in the world at one-on-one. And for the SmackDown Elimination Chamber, the joke that it is, would you want me to say Santino Marella? Do you really want to see world champion Cobra Santino Marella winning that? No. I'm going to have to say Daniel Bryan. I want to see Daniel Bryan hold on to that belt as long as he can. There's nobody in that match I think deserves the world title there. So I have no idea. But I'm going to have to say Daniel Bryan, Jericho, Kane, and Beth. But for the other matches that could be added, are we going to see another Funkasaurus match added? I doubt it. For the U.S. title, I don't know. I doubt it. I don't think they're going to add that match. Who could he defend it against? That's not wrestling right there and then. I don't know. I don't think they're going to add that. Maybe the tag team match titles, maybe. But I don't think they're going to add those matches, and I don't think they're going to change those titles on that show anyway. So if they do add those matches in the long run, the champions are going to win. So I don't know. That's my little rambling on some predictions. But hey, that's what you get.
Okay, so here's my thing about the Divas match, because really it's bothering me a lot that all of a sudden it's not just Tamina like they've been calling her for ages. Now that she's taking Melina's sort of warrior princess gimmick and going on, now she's Tamina Snuka. Granted, she's looking a lot better. It looks like she's actually cleaned herself up, because before she looked horrible, like she just came out of like the jungle after 6 months. But now she actually seems to be like a well-polished. She got a well-polished look. I like the fact that she could possibly win this, because they're building her to be strong against Beth Phoenix, who's always built to be a juggernaut. This could lead to a triple threat at WrestleMania, which could be interesting to see. But yeah, I still think Beth's going to walk out. I agree with Steve on that one. Now, flipping over to Santino, him saying that no one wants to see Santino walk out with a title. I'd love to see Santino walk out with a title. I mean, where are you at on that, Garvin? I mean,
yeah, I'm okay with the underdog feel of things. I was very pleased seeing Santino win on SmackDown. If he won at Elimination Chamber, for sure I would mark out. I mean, that it would be the unexpected. I would be totally surprised. You don't see Santino as a guy that should be in that position anyways, let alone winning it. And for him to win it, I think would be a great story.
Totally. That would be epically awesome. But, I mean, it's not going to happen, so... I mean, really, let's just go back over our predictions, because, that's what we got left to do, right?
Sure. Let's start off with the Divas Championship match. Beth Phoenix versus Tamina. Just to go over what you were saying before. You think, that, well, basically what everyone was saying was that, it would be nice for Tamina to be shown well, to have a good push, but she's not walking out as the champion, and that's really unfortunate that we're all looking at it that way. I would also love for Tamina to win tonight, but Beth versus Natalia, or I'm sorry, not Natalia. Beth versus Karma does make sense, but I still think it's too soon. It's almost last minute to have Karma show up at the pay-per-view and all of a sudden be awarded the title. I would rather see a triple threat, like I think you just said. I would rather see Tamina not lose her spot just because Karma may or may not be back. I think Tamina brings a lot to this division.
She does, but you know what? It's Karma, so I'm going to mark out like a motherfucker.
Oh, well, sure. Of course, and I will too. I mean, for sure, I think it'd be great to see Karma return if that happens.
If she did the Christian gimmick where she had, that one more match thing, if that was Karma doing it, I'd be fine with it. It's just at least for a couple months.
Yeah.
After that, it needs to die.
But yeah, everyone in the chat, everyone in who sent us pics on Twitter and Facebook, they're all saying Beth retains. Every single one of us have Beth retaining as far as our predictions on episode 101.
except one goes.
Yeah. King IC3 on Twitter, he says Tamina, and his prediction is Natalia gets involved, knocks out Beth with her toxic gas, and Tamina makes the pin, which is possible.
It's possible, but really, somebody from the Hart family needs to punch whoever wrote that gimmick up in the throat.
Yeah.
Not needed.
Moving on to Kane versus Cena, we were all kind of split on this on the show. And just hearing you and hearing all of the voicemails that we played, it seems like everyone sees Cena needing to win to carry momentum, but we all kind of want to see Kane win just to carry that storyline going. Because I mean, if Cena wins, then what options do they have other than making him the underdog going into WrestleMania? He's going to be the underdog, against Rock, but he still will be somewhat of a face. He'll be that face role that we can't stand. But if Kane wins, then there's an opportunity for Kane to make him embrace hate, and then we'll see Cena doing more heel-type things going into WrestleMania, which I think would be a better story.
Oh, totally.
So, but yeah, I think Chill said it right. If Cena can't defeat Kane, how can he defeat Rock? And I think that would be a better story going into WrestleMania than, Cena winning. So, okay, World Championship Elimination Chamber. Daniel Bryan versus Cody Rhodes, Wade Barrett, Big Show, Khali, and Santino Marella. Pretty much everyone is also saying Daniel Bryan. I think we all said that except for Kevin on the show, and he said Orton, but obviously Orton's not in it anymore. So
do we give Kevin the honorary Orton Santino pick? I mean, does he get, if for some reason Orton comes back and takes Santino's spot? God forbid, if they're, God only knows what they're going to do, but if Orton is involved, Kevin gets the point. If Santino wins, Kevin gets the point. I think that's really where it needs to be. That's the most crucial thing we need to discuss this entire pre-show.
If Orton wins, then Kevin gets the point. But if Orton is not even involved and it's Santino, then no, I don't think.
All right.
I don't think.
I was just trying to throw Kevin a bone here.
Yeah, I like the idea.
But yeah, everybody has said Daniel Bryan for this match.
Yeah, but again, it would be a good story for Santino to win. It's unlikely, and it's unlikely that he'll make it into the Elimination Chamber. That's the other thought or the theory going around, is that moments before or earlier that night, someone will take him out, whether that's Orton trying to get back involved, or Mark Henry, or
Vladimir Kozlov?
Someone else appearing. I think Chill alluded to this in the Mark's Facebook group and in the chat. It would be good to see a Christian return, and maybe Christian takes that spot. I don't know if he's healthy enough to do that. Or Drew McIntyre. Diva Jill wants to push Drew McIntyre into that role, so we'll see. Yeah.
Hi, Jill.
Yeah, Joe is a mouth breather.
Apparently, I'm a mouth breather. I've got a bit of a cold, so I apologize. I'm a little congested.
Yeah. All right, and then the main event, at least that's what we're assuming is the main event. It's the only match that really makes sense in this spot, and that's CM Punk defending his title in the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match against Dolph Ziggler, Jericho, Miz, Truth, and Kofi. This one seemed to be mixed.
Which is awesome.
It's either one or the other is what it seems like, and it's either CM Punk or Chris Jericho, and either way they're going to build into their match at WrestleMania. So Rob and Kevin on episode 101 said CM Punk will retain. Jericho is being predicted as the winner by you. By Mike from PW Torch, from Harrison, Chill, Connor, Steve Credo, Playboy B, BPAC on Twitter, and just everyone. Everyone is saying Jericho will walk out tonight, except for me.
Yeah, you're going with Kofi, which I think is a bold pick. But the thing about this match is any of these guys have the in-ring talent. Well, just about all these guys have the in-ring talent to carry the title. In-ring talent, yes.
Yeah.
Kofi needs to develop his character. I'm hoping this is the beginning of a Kofi push that we started to see when he fought Randy Orton that I loved, and they just squashed him in. But I don't want to see Truth win, but I will, if any other guy wins, I'm pleased.
Yeah.
Not because I hate Truth. I still like the shucky ducky quack quack little Jimmy gimmick. But I don't think that character's ready for the big picture. Kofi, he has a corner to turn and he could do it, but still no, Jericho. Jericho's the money.
Yeah, and that's what everyone seems to be saying. And, but I look at it this way. I look at, the CM Punk versus Jericho match is going to happen no matter what. They don't need the title. The same thing with Daniel Bryan. If Mark Henry or Randy Orton is healthy, then then they have a match prepared for WrestleMania. So like a Sheamus, I could see Sheamus going after Kofi, leaving a door open for Daniel Bryan going after, or Mark Henry going after Daniel Bryan, or Orton going after Daniel Bryan in that WrestleMania match, and still have three good matches.
I would love to see Sheamus Ziggler.
I could see that too, but I'd rather have Kofi. I think Kofi is definitely the major underdog in this. Ziggler could do it, yes. Jericho could do it. CM Punk could do it. Miz, theoretically, he could do it. Truth and Kofi, you don't really look at them as guys who should be considered. Theoretically, just because of where they've been and what they've done up until this point.
Oh, I agree, but I think that Kofi has the potential to develop the character into a main event character where Truth doesn't, because Kofi's still unexplored territory on that. He hasn't had a lot of mic time other than early on, and that's when he was, the Jamaican sensation.
Sure. All right, well, obviously, what happens tonight will basically determine what we'll see at WrestleMania 28. We could go on about our predictions from, moving forward, but we can save that for the road to WrestleMania, which is starting tonight. Really, we are going to see tonight what we can expect for WrestleMania. Every match is going to be booked pretty much.
This is the last mile.
Yeah. So, okay. Anything else that you would like to add to the show, Joe, before we say goodbye?
Not at all. I think it's going to be a solid pay-per-view. I mean, it's got potential to add all kinds of matches. I mean, maybe we'll see Drew McIntyre in the ring. Maybe we'll see a lot of other people because they've got a lot of space to fill.
Sure. And, yeah.
And I hope the ambulance match is short.
If there needed to be a short match, that's the one that I would choose as well. It's not going to be a wrestling match. It's going to be a brawl. That's the way they're going to have to do it. And, a brawl shouldn't last more than 15 minutes maybe, especially an ambulance match. I don't know.
Oh, I agree.
So, all right, well, once again, we are FTW Podcast. You can find more about us at ftwpodcast.com. Thank you for listening. Diva Jill, Taker, FTW Chill in the chat room. Thank you so much for participating tonight. Everyone who sent in a voicemail, Connor from the OK Fabe Show, Chill Mascaras from the Chill Shack, Steve Carito from the Marks Facebook group. There's some great conversations, wrestling-related conversations that happen daily at the Marks Facebook group. You can find them at, I think it is facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Marks.
I'm going to check that right now.
I should have written that down, but I think that's what it is. If it's not, we will post a link on our Facebook page. It's FTW,
It is Facebook.com/group/Pro Wrestling Marks.
Great. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/FTW Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, especially this show. The show will be on YouTube in about 45 minutes or so, depending on how long it takes to upload. And that is youtube.com/the FTW podcast. Again, my name is Garvin, here with Joe, FTW podcast.
Yo.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on Tuesday. We do live episodes every Tuesday. They're about an hour and a half, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah, that's about it. So, we'll see you later.